Hello, welcome to the American Business Podcast. This is Kevin Deveji, your host. I am welcoming you today, episode 62. And today's number is 76. This is how many millions? 76.4 millions baby boomers living in the United States, according to the US Census Bureau. This generation born between 1946 and 1964. I'm very excited to talk about baby boomers today, and we have a great guest. We have the CEO of babyboomer.org, and I'm going to welcome our guest, Mark Joseph, and we'll get the conversation started. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
Of course, the pleasure is all mine. I'm glad you made it in your busy schedule.
Great to be here.
Thank you very much. Well, I hope you are having a great week so far.
Oh, wonderful week so far. I live here in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a little hot, but it's not a bad week.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, even we're gonna be talking about baby boomers today, and we have a lot to learn from you. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and babyboomer.org to our audience and to our listeners, please?
Oh, absolutely. My name is Mark Joseph. I'm one of 4 partners who have started babyboomer.org. And the reason that we started Baby Boomer is our generation, which you just described a little bit earlier, is as diverse as anyone before us and after us. You know, we're very divided as far as politics and diversity and religion, you know, quite a diverse population. But the one thing that baby boomers have in common is a shared, connected experience. And one of the reasons we had this is when we were growing up, there were only 3 television stations. So we all saw the same thing. We all had landlines. So that's how we communicated. So, it was just a much closer connection because of the communications differences of today versus the ones back for the baby boomers growing up. You know, we have all kinds of things in common as baby boomers. We were there for the Kennedy's assassination, Martin Luther King, when he died. We were there for the landing on the moon. Birth control became very widespread during our generation. We lived through Vietnam and Kent State. We had the riots in the streets as we were growing up. But we had great music. I mean, when you think about the baby boomer generation, had Elvis and the Beach Boys and the Beatles and Three Dog Night, Association, Supremes, all these fabulous, fabulous music. The songs Cherish and the Association. And we also had the movies. The Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Jaws, pretty much any of the Spielberg movies. Animal House, Star Wars, The Godfather. This is our generation. So we created the site because we have so many, you said there's 76 million of us. There's so much things that we have in common that we wanted to have one place where people could gather and learn from us. So, we have 816 experts from around the country at all kinds of podcasts and information and articles. I mean, you're one of our experts. We're very honored to have you on our site. We have close to 500 different topic departments that we talk about, anything from AI to technology to retirement to health to travel, all these things that are very interesting to our generation. So that is why we created the site babyboomer.org. And what we found out when we built the site, we thought it was going to be just for baby boomers. But what's happening is the baby boomer kids and the grandkids are coming on the site to try to understand our generation.
Yeah, this is really exciting. About baby boomers, babyboomer.org, that is definitely my pleasure to be one of the content creators and contributors to the site, and it's an honor. I'm going to also show my site to our audience and listeners as well, especially our viewers, I must say, so they can see the screen. But before that, how has babyboomer.org evolved over time, and where do you see it in the next 5 years?
Well, the reason that we started the site, one of the other reasons we started the site is I had written a children's book called I Don't Want to Turn 3. And when I was out promoting the book and talking about it and so forth, it became very apparent to me that my generation, the grandparents, are not involved in the raising of the grandkids. 30% of us, that means one out of every three of us, really are not involved with the raising of these kids. I mean, we may go to birthday parties or for holidays, but that's about it. We say, hey, we raised some great kids. Let them raise the grandkids. I'm going to go play pickleball. So one of the reasons that we did start this site is because we wanted to make sure that grandparents got back involved in leaving a legacy and teaching these kids and helping to bring up the next greatest generation. Because I got to tell you, the generation of kids that are from 1 to 10 years old today is the smartest generation that this country has ever produced. I mean, when you think about it, as soon as they come out of the womb, they're on the internet. They got their cell phones. I mean, I wasn't on the internet until I was 40 years old. So these kids that are coming up and being born today are going to just transform the world. And we, as baby boomers, have got to help influence them and keep them grounded so that we can pass on our legacy to them. So that's another reason that we started babyboomer.org.
Yeah, this is really exciting. How about you? How did your own career path unfold? And were there any unexpected turns in your career path?
Well, myself, I've been in business pretty much all of my life. I went to college, and then when I got out of college, I went into retailing. Back in the 70s, retailing was a huge opportunity. Department stores were just coming online, and all the major chains were just developing. So that's how I got my start. Is I got into the retail business and started doing that. And then after retail, I got into the wholesale business, and I got into supplying other companies too. The company that I started that went public, it's called Dollar Days International, and we became the premier business-to-business site on the internet where we sold in case quantity to small businesses all around the world, shipping all 50 states, around 40 foreign countries. Our customer base were the moms and the pops who were surviving and thriving against the chains. In fact, that's the reason I wrote my first book, which is called The Secrets of Retailing: How to Beat Walmart. And I wrote this book because our customer base were the moms and pops trying to survive against the big guys. And so I was getting all these questions every week about what we should do. So the book is a 15-chapter book, and each chapter is about different things of how to run a small business. Where do you find your products and merchandise is one chapter. How do you hire people is another chapter. Another is how do you market online? How do you market offline? And the 15th chapter is the exit strategy. What do you do with your business? Once it's time to move on. So that was my early career was in the retail business and the wholesale business and the manufacturing business until I got involved with Baby Boomer.
Can you also tell us about the other book that you actually published?
Well, those are my two favorite books that I publish. I do some writing online and so forth, but it's the book, my children's book, which is I Don't Want to Turn 3, which is a true story, by the way. I wrote that during COVID because I had the opportunity to have all 6 of my grandkids here in our house for about 6 weeks. So I had a chance to really see how they interact and what they do. And, one of the great things about little kids is, the reason I wrote the book is because these 6 kids had completely different personalities. But the one thing that they had in common was curiosity, a sense of curiosity. So they were starting to learn the difference between me and us. And so again, I wrote this book because I needed to understand this greatest generation coming up because it was so different than mine. I mean, when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have the internet. We didn't even have cable TV. We didn't have remotes. I was my dad's remote. He said, "Son, go change the channel." That's the generation that I grew up in. So So by writing this children's book, it gave me a chance to really understand the difference between when I was growing up and how kids are growing up today. Because, what our job is as parents and grandparents is for us is to necessary to teach children how to think, not what to think, but how to think. And by reading them books and 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 teaching them when they're young like that, it gives us a chance to teach them how to think. When you think about it, if you're a parent or grandparent, one of the greatest things you can do to your child is every night read them a book. Just because books, a book like mine is only 20 minutes to read. It's no big deal. But there's hundreds of great books out there to read. And if you think about it, again, going back to the thought that this is the greatest generation that's ever been born, these kids 1 through 10 years old, what can we do to influence them, make them even smarter than we ever were? And just picture picking up a little kid, put him on your lap, and reading him a book every night. I mean, what does that do? It teaches them all kinds of life skills. First thing it does, it helps with the bonding. I mean, when these kids are little, it gives you a chance to really get 20 minutes. They're sitting on your lap, and you're bonding with them. A nice way to spend some time together. It helps support listening skills when you teach these kids when they're younger to listen to what you read. I mean, when you think about it, as adults, you and I realize that our listening skills are the best skills we have. I mean, you as a podcaster, you have to listen to your guests to make sure you're asking the right questions. I have to listen to our customers to make sure we've got the best contributors and the best topics and the best departments on our site. So that's a skill that we have developed, and it's our best skill that we can learn. If we can teach these little kids when they're 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, to sit on our laps and listen to a book that we read, we're teaching them a skill that they're going to use the rest of their life. Another reason we should all be reading books to these little kids is because of the cognitive and language development. I mean, there's plenty of words in these books that I don't understand. I got to go look up. But there's plenty of others that you explain to these kids that teaches them just an easy way to teach. And the last reason is because of attention span. You got a kid 2, 3, 4 years old, they're running around the house all day. You get them to have key concentration, self-discipline, just by reading that book every night for 20 minutes. It really helps on that. So I encourage any of your listeners that have kids to make sure you take the time to read them a book. You can read them my book, obviously, but there's 100 other great books out there to read. So that you can help influence them so that they become a better generation than we ever were.
Yes, absolutely. And also, you mentioned about the babyboomer.org and my page. Let me also show it to our viewers as well in terms of, let me also put it on the screen right here. Okay, that's great. So I'll bring it to my screen. Yeah, this is also for our viewers. So no, this is babyboomer.org, and this is my page, the contributor page that we put together, and also any broadcasted, any streamed podcast, we also make it available here, the latest ones. So that's also good for the babyboomer.org visitors. So we can also show it here and talk about it a little bit. That's great. Mark, can you tell us about the state of baby boomers in US? What type of challenges are they having based on your observation and experience in general?
The obviously biggest challenges that baby boomers have are relating to the younger generations. It's a whole different world, because we grew up differently. Whereas my kids and my grandkids are on their phones and social media and that, we didn't get involved in that, not until we're much into our later years. So that's one of our challenges: is how do we pick up technology easily? That's one challenge. And second, then, is how do you relate that to the younger generations? When we were on our landlines, when we wanted to talk to somebody, we just picked up the phone. We didn't text them. We didn't, bing them. We just picked it up the phone. So it's a whole different way to communicate. And when you've been doing it our way for so many years and having to learn to do different technology, that's a challenge. Then obviously, as we get older, health becomes a challenge. We're living longer. That's a good thing. I mean, obviously, these generations living longer, and I think we're in better shape than our parents were in, because I think that generation realized that we've got to go out and work out and run and walk and stay in shape to do that. So, but I would say the biggest challenge is how do we relate to the younger generations when there has been such a gap between our knowledge and growing up and theirs.
Yes, and also you mentioned about technology a little bit. I also like to learn about your take about on AI. What do you think about AI in general? How it is changing the business life and business landscape from your point of view?
Well, we believe in AI. I mean, we have a whole department of our site talking about AI because we all need to do this. But and AI is going to be the greatest impact on our lives. It's going to be greater than the introduction of the internet. It's going to be greater than the introduction of how the social media. AI is going to be taking the place and making it smarter. It really does. I mean, I can just see it in the things that we do. You know, if you ask AI to search, it's saving you so much more time. And take it from a business standpoint. If you run a business and let's say you do cold calls, you go out and try to reach new people. AI can find the right people for you much faster than you can. So it is going to replace some of the mundane tasks that we all do. It will make every one of us more efficient and be able to do more things. I'm seeing that every day in my life that whenever you touch on the AI, it gets you information quicker. Things that you may have you may have spent years looking for. I mean, and it's an evolution. If you think about when I was growing up, we used to go to the library and look at the micro screens to see what everything was going on. And then the internet came about and you got that information. And so, it's just the evolution. It's the next step. And if any of your listeners are not adapting or getting ready for AI, they are going to lose out. You're going to have to do it just to be competitive. So I urge everyone to explore how AI can help their business because it'll make you more efficient. And if you become more efficient, you can do more business and obviously make more money.
In your career journey, have you had any mentors, role models that help shape your career that you can share with us?
Yes, we all have mentors as we're growing up. There's one that I can remember when I was young. Again, I went out of college. I went right into the department store business. I worked for a company down in Miami, Florida called Burdines, which is now Macy's, part of Macy's. And I was a buyer there in a couple of departments. And one of my bosses, a guy by the name of David Dyer, was the merchandise manager. And what I learned from him is you've got to be able to take chances to really make a difference. And at the time I was a buyer, and you can do certain things and follow certain ways, but if you see an idea, you need to take that chance. And that's what I would encourage any of the young people that are listening to this is think outside the box. Think about what you can do to improve what you are doing or how you're building something. So, yeah, as a boss to someone with boss to me, he gave me the ability to do my own thinking. And if you're building a team, you're building a company, you want to be able to let the people that are aggressive to come up with their own ideas. So that's what I would encourage anyone to do is make sure that you're open for ideas.
Um, well, in your career journey, what is one lesson that you learned the hard way that you can share with us?
I learned that I'm not the smartest guy in the room. And you've got to be able to admit that. When you're a young, aggressive person trying to build a life and build a reputation and build a business, you think you know it all, and you don't. And you may be good in one part, but but you're not always there. And I learned that as I was building our internet company called Dollar Days, is that I may have understood how to market and what the customer base was, but I had no idea of technology. Yeah, so I had to major rely on our IT to understand that. I mean, if you put me in the room for a week and try to treat me, shame me, I wouldn't have understood it. So you've got to be able to admit you are not the smartest guy in the room and you're not the expert in everything. You have got to surround yourself with people that are smarter to you. We talk about small businesses. Step back and think about what causes business failures. And you got to realize that in small businesses, and again, I encourage everybody out there to become an entrepreneur, but you got to know the numbers. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to open up a business, 20% are going to fail in the first year. You may have the greatest idea, but it's going to fail. 50% of us are going to fail in the first 5 years. So 1 out of 2 of us are going to fail if we want to be an entrepreneur. And I know that many of us are thinking about being entrepreneurs, but think about, why do these businesses fail? Well, that 42% of them fail because there's really no market for the products that they have. You may have thought that you have invented the greatest thing since sliced bread, but if you don't do your research and you don't check it out and you don't test it, there may not be the product or service that people want. And that's why 42% of these businesses fail. When 50% in the first 5 years. 29% of businesses fail because they don't have enough capital on cash to run the business. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to start a business, you got to say to yourself, I need 6 months of cash as if I have zero amount of sales. Because otherwise, it's going to kill you. You're going to run out. And that's why 29% fail. But 23% fail. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we were just talking about this earlier, because you don't build the right team around you. You're not a communicator. 23, that's almost 1 out of every 4 businesses fail because the entrepreneur thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he doesn't listen to his staff. He doesn't hire people that are smarter than he is. If I'm building a business, I don't know much about finances, so I want to hire a chief financial officer who's smarter than me, can understand that, to pull it together. Same thing, you want to hire an IT team that's smarter than you are so that they can do it. So the key is building in these small businesses a team of people that are smarter than you are and have the expertise that you don't have, to make sure that you build the right team. So that's what I got out of that.
Yes, truly appreciate it. Thank you for these insights. Well, what are your biggest passions and interests outside of work?
Well, now that I'm getting older, I'm reflecting on what's going to be my legacy. What am I going to leave behind? And it's not about money. I mean, because you can't take money with you. So it's not how much money you make. It's really, what are you doing to influence the younger generations to make them better than you are? Because that should be all of our legacies. How can we make sure our kids are smarter and better than we are? How can we make sure our grandkids are even better than they are? So that's what's really on my mind. Obviously, what I like to do outside, the 6 grandkids, they're just so much fun. I got 7th on the way coming in.
Congratulations!
So excited
Yes.
about that. And love to do traveling with my wife. But one of the things I do, when I'm a substitute teacher, and the reason that I did that, and I did that right after COVID was over, is because we're short on teachers. We don't have enough teachers. We don't have enough people that are out there. So, if I can do my part, I teach in the local, the middle school and the high school, all subjects. I've taught them all. It's kind of fun. But that's what when we start talking about legacy and giving back, that's the reason I'm doing that, because I think we should all be worried about our community and how do we make them better than they were before we got here.
Speaking of next generation, can you share some career advice with the next generation for those who are just getting into the job market, who are just graduated or about to graduate, entering to the job market? Any career advice for them?
Yeah, just make sure you're seeking out mentors. Okay, again, you know, you know you're smart. That's why you're in the job market. That's why you're looking. But you always have weaknesses. There's some things you don't understand, and other people are the experts in that. Sometimes you have to bite your pride and go to ask people for advice. Find the people that are in your company that seem to want to help you, and get onto their coattails. You know, learn from them, because most people in most companies want to help others, because it helps the whole company. So why not? So that would be my suggestion: is make sure that you're communicating and learning from others, to make sure that in 10, 20 years, you can do that to someone else.
Yes, absolutely. Well, before we end our episode, any other information that you'd like to share about babyboomer.org with our audience?
I just recommend everybody check it out. Right? Again, because the front page changes every single day. It's a brand new site every single day because of all of our great contributors like yourself. We got new information. We got the latest information. And again, on all kinds of topics. So if you're worried about your health, or you want to figure out about traveling, or if you want to learn more about technology, we've got the experts on our site. So please just come. It's free. I mean, there's no cost to do this. Just come and learn more, become smarter, so that you can pass that on to other generations.
For those who like to be in touch with you, continue this conversation, what is the best way to be in touch with you?
Oh, they can reach me at mark@babyboomer.org. That's mark@babyboomer.org. And I'd love to talk to you about more things. So yes, please reach out.
Mark, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. It was an informative conversation. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a pleasure being part of the babyboomer.org family. And I'm happy to be a contributor as well. So looking forward to speaking with you again. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank
My
you for
pleasure.
inviting
Thank
me.
you. Have a great day. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, we had another great episode together. I hope you enjoyed it. I liked it very much. It was a great conversation with Mark Joseph from babyboomer.org. And we talk about different subjects, as we always do at every single episode of the American Business Podcast. And also, we talk about baby boomers today in this episode. Actually, we never covered this subject. We never addressed baby boomers and their challenges. So that was a great opportunity to learn about it and talk about it. And this also discussed earlier, babyboomer.org, I'm one of the contributors. Every single the American Business Podcast episode also actually reflected on the babyboomer.org website. So it's a great partnership, and I'm happy to be part of babyboomer.org ecosystem. Well, would you like to be a guest speaker in our podcast? Do you have any feedback that you like to share? Would you like to advertise? Would you like to be a sponsor? Please send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We are very responsive, and anytime that you send us an email to share feedback or to be a guest speaker or to advertise or to be a sponsor, we reply as soon as possible. So we welcome you to be in touch with us, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We also have a very active website, americanpodcast.tv. You can visit our website. You can learn more about our podcast, our team, and also you can also see coming schedule, what type of subjects we will cover, who will be our guest. You can also see the whole list together on the website. Well, we just started a membership program, and that's really exciting for us. I'll bring it to our screen just to talk about a little bit. So the ABP, the American Business Podcast, is becoming the voice of American business, and we are very excited. That is why we created the membership program, that you can get more benefits from the podcast. And you can scan this QR code on the screen, and you can learn about the membership programs. I just put it right here, the QR code. You can scan this, and it'll take you to a page that you can learn about the membership programs: business professional membership program, supporter membership program, executive membership program, as well as HR professional membership program as well. So we have different programs. These are all monthly memberships that they offer different benefits. For example, if you be a business professional member of our podcast, it comes with software systems such as social media scheduling software, email blasting software systems, and these are typically sold hundreds of dollars a month. And our membership program is very affordable, just to create this ecosystem of the American Business Podcast. Also, we'll appreciate your support and your contribution so that we can keep running our business podcasts more and further. That's the idea. And we love to also create these membership ecosystem as well. So please scan this QR code, and you can learn more about the membership program. And please be a member, support our podcast, the American Business Podcast, the voice of the American business. Well, what else is happening? We also have great sponsors. We have Ms. Excel. If you love to learn about Excel and Microsoft software systems, you can consider Ms. Excel. You can scan this QR code. It'll take you to their page, and you can learn about Ms. Excel offering and courses. What makes them different is the way that it teaches. It is fun and enjoyable way of learning the software, Excel and other business software systems. And we have a discount code, ABP 2025. When you go in and when you are about to check out, please put the code in, ABP 2025, for the discount that comes only for the American Business Podcast viewers and listeners. August 22nd, we have an online event called the Connection America Business Alliance, and we organize monthly business networking events. At the American Business Podcast, we talk about different subjects. With the Connection America Business Alliance monthly networking event, we like to put these conversations into action. That is why this exclusive business networking event is very beneficial for businesses and professionals. We only are having 10 professionals right now. We only have two seats left, so limited seating. If you are considering introducing your business, your products, services, your offering to the American Business Podcast ecosystem and followers and listeners, that's a great opportunity. You'll also have a chance to meet with other professionals as well who are networking with you. So that's a great opportunity. That's online. You can connect from anywhere in US, anywhere in the world. We welcome it. All you need to be doing is you can scan this QR code on the screen, and you can just register and join us on August 22nd at 10 a.m. Eastern time zone, and we'll get it started. And that we are really excited about this. It's a monthly networking event that we are organizing, which we already did also a couple of months ago, and now we are doing it monthly. So this is the one that we designed for August. So I hope you can join us. That's all for today. Thank you so much for listening. The American Business Podcast, the voice of the American business. Looking forward to having you in the coming The American Business Podcast episodes. Thank you very much and have a great day.